Go ahead.
Thank you very much. If you are looking after me in the publication, you will not find me in the name. But if you are looking me after a patient, you will find me as a patient in studies. So today I will speak about the interaction between the scientist, technology, and the patient vision. So to some things about myself, I'm discussing today with you about what we expect you as a researcher from patient, what I can see. What do they expect, I mean, the patient, what they expect from research, who generate the solution, who benefit from it, and what does technology build and destroy in patients. Of course, it's a little bit provocative questions from a patient that leads to a different vision, I hope. From my side, I'm Sebastian Tobler, born in 70s, married, 4 kids. They are no more at home, so I'm an old one. Automotive engineer, nothing to do about neuroscience. Professor at the University of Applied Science in Bern, and head of SCI Mobility Lab, SCI for Spinal Cord Injury Lab. So I had a life before my accident. I was quite doing a lot of sport. And today I'm in a wheelchair. That means a lot of change between both of them. That means 2013, I had this mountain bike accident who make me quadriplegic. That means I'm ASIA B or C, depends on the doctors who are controlling me. That means my heart rate before my accident was used to do sport, but after my accident, my heart rate was limited to 96. The maximum sweating is no more possible for me. That means when I'm going out in the sun, when it's very hot, I would say like this, die. I have a friend who was in the hospital with me who already died 2 years after being in the sun. Breathing, I have also problem with breathing. I mean, today, no more. I will tell you why. Blood pressure, of course, if you stand in the beginning when I came back to home, standing was a big problem. Even wake up in the morning and go to the table and beginning to eat was a big problem. So I had to reduce my work to 30%. That means it makes a lot of change. But why I'm here today with you, it means that I'm here with you because I think it's also very shortly, just after my accident, some months after, I was in the hospital and I began to be a patient for studies with the Swiss paraplegic research. Also, 3 years after my accident, I started with a startup, GBY for Go By Yourself. And later, 8 years after my accident, the boss from the University of Applied Science came to me and asked me, do you want to do research? You need to do research because you are working with so many people. So I have a lab today and I'm doing some research. If you are looking after me on the YouTube, you will perhaps find this picture. Who knows this picture? The people on the picture. I think everyone knows who are on the you don't know. From today, you know that's me in the middle. But on the left side, you have Jocelyn Bloch, and Professor Dr. Neurosurgeon Jocelyn Bloch. On the right side, you have Grégoire Courtine, Professor Dr. Grégoire Courtine. So I was part of this study that's in the CHUV in Lausanne. And that means they brought me, so they opened my, not my stomach, but my skin and brought me on my spinal cord an electrode with 16 position where you have a stimulation on the spinal cord and implanted pulse generator here. So I took part of this study for 1 year. And in 2018, if you remember, they were looking everywhere after the 3 guys who could do some steps in the lab, and I was one of them. And the best result I could have was this one. You can see here, hope it works. Yes, you can see here me walking in the lab. Look it very well, what I'm doing here. I'm working, I have something like 50 kilograms who help me from a body weight support, and I have something like around 20, 25 kilograms on my feet on the floor. And if you are looking, the system I have on my spinal cord is an electrode who stimulate the dorsal root. That means all the nerves who comes from the legs, part of the nerves who comes from the legs, and that's the sensitive roots or sensitive nerves. So they stimulate these nerves, and it makes a loop in the spinal cord and go back on the ventral root on the nerves to the muscle. That means by stimulating the sensitive side, you will stimulate or make a muscle activity in the leg. And that's what they're doing. It works, as you can see here, it works, but it works in a special condition. It works in lab. That means that are the result of me in Nature. You can find it in Nature publication 2022. And what you can see here is me before the study. So I mean here it's before the study, and on the right side is after the study, the muscle, the result of the muscle test. And here under, you can see how far I could walk. 0 meter before and after. The speed, of course, if you cannot walk, you can have no speed. And the body weight support was going down between the first test and the last test. That means in the beginning, I had something around 70%. And in the end, I needed something like 35%. It means body weight support without stimulation for 10 seconds. That was the condition. Okay, what I learned from this study, because it was for me an amazing experience in the sense that I had a lot of connection with the researcher, I mean, with Jocelyne, Grégoire, and all the staff behind. You have to imagine someone working in a lab with sometimes between 10 and 12 scientists who are around you, ask a lot of questions, doing a lot of measurement and everything. So I learned a lot from them. And I learned some different things, perhaps not different from your side as people who make research. It often was quite funny because looking at the result, I'm not speaking about my result, but generally, when you are talking about, it's amazing, someone before the therapy and after the therapy, we could measure 50% more strength. Something amazing for researcher. But if you begin with no force, plus 50% of something who is meaningless, for the one who is sitting in the wheelchair is still meaningless. So it means nothing. So looking, another example quite interesting is also people who are developing the exoskeleton. I know a lot of them in Switzerland, in ETH Zurich and APFL. Very happy when you can tell to someone he's walking alone with an exoskeleton for 100 meters. It is quite funny when you discuss with people in a wheelchair, when they tell you, well, look at them, they are walking with sticks, someone who helped, and they are taking for 100 meters, 10 minutes. With my wheelchair, I do it in 20 seconds. So it makes no sense for the one who is in the wheelchair, this exoskeleton. I'm just a little bit exaggerating, but so you can a little bit more understand what is the feeling sometimes when you're in the wheelchair and you are looking the research. Therapy often needs a lot of help. That means if you want to do something by yourself with a new therapy, you know from the beginning that you need a physiotherapist, you need a scientist, you need I don't know how many people, and sometimes it's quite not so, brings not so hope for the people who are in the wheelchair, in the sense that they know that they need so many people, they need rooms, they need stuff to make it, so they will never be able to do it. And of course, the question is, who pays for this therapy in the end? Who pays for that? I learned something else after the study, and it was quite disturbing for me. It's also that a lot of the patients, I know all of them who came for the study of Grégoire and Jocelyne, and it was just amazing because we could see the progress in everyone. It was very interesting, but it was made in a special healed. I mean, with everyone around you who helps you, who encourage you. And when you are back at home, depression, you're alone. You were in a team for 1 year, part of this team, you go out, and for some of them, they had depression after. I'm not speaking about me. I have 4 kids, 1 wife, 2 cats, and 1 dog. So I was not alone when I came back at home. But it was quite interesting also to see that. So that means going a little bit further with, of course, you have seen that I was walking with a stimulator who stimulates my spinal cord with a frequency of stimulation. Every second or every 2 seconds, stimulation on the left side, stimulation on the right side. So you have to follow the rhythm. So the thing is that the next step was to take if you're looking at me, I had I'm spinal cord injury in this level. I have the stimulator or the electrode on the level of L1. And this system makes me walk again. But no, if you want to go out of this specific rhythm, who is fixed by the internal pulse generator, you need, what do you need? Next step. No ideas? Signal from the brain. Okay. That means the idea is to take the signal from the brain and go directly to the system itself. And now you have seen me before walking with some difficulties. Okay. Now imagine that you have an electrode who is fixed on your spinal cord. And with the signal, you try to target 1 neuron or 2 neurons on some group of neurons. And here you have on the spinal cords millions of neurons. So it's quite difficult to find the right neurons, and it's quite difficult to have no influence on the other one. So something what was quite difficult is that the sensation on my spinal cord was quite locked because of this influence of stimulation. So what are you doing? The people are, I mean, the scientists are thinking, okay, it's a good idea to take the signal from the brain. So I was part also of this study in the sense that they did some, with EEG, some recording of my brain activity. I mean, the alpha wave brain activity. I did it with the team. I just brought 2 pictures, so you believe me that I was also in the team to make this test. But it was quite interesting to measure the alpha wave and to see my legs moving just because I was thinking. It was interesting, but it was also interesting to see where are the weakness of the system also. So that means you are trying to measure in a position of your brain a movement, and if you're looking at the brain, how many parts are responsible for this movement, how many feedback are sent between different parts of the brain is quite, I mean, just taking a signal from one side of the brain and be sure that it's exactly the signal you want when you walk, it's quite hardcore to be sure that it will work. It works, of course. We have seen it on the TV. But it was interesting to be part in the study because I had some discussion with the team of Grenoble, 4 of them, and I told them, you know, your system, I believe it will work, but it will be impossible to work without looking at your feet. And they told me, no, that's impossible. You can walk without looking at your feet. I said, no, you will see. The people will they will have to look at their feet to walk because of the sensation who will be cut down, because of the movement. You don't know where the foot is placed when you are doing a movement. You need to see where it is because you have no feeling. And they didn't believe me. It was quite funny because we had a big discussion, and the thing is here. You can see the system here on the brain. That's Gertian. He was also part on the first part of the study of Grégoire and Jocelyn in the STIMO study. And he has 2 implants. You can see both of them, 2 implants on the cortex, where you can find the all the signal activities for the legs. So he was one of them, and the signal is sent after directly on the spinal cord, also on the IPG. IPG is here. And here you have the lead with the 16 electrodes. And here you have the spinal cord where you have the 16 electrodes who stimulate the different pattern, also the different position to have a walking pattern. And this is directly taken from the brain. It was quite interesting. But when I saw the result, I didn't find the movie because I heard or I have seen on the TV that Gertian was walking and he was answering to the journalist, when I'm walking, I need to look at my feet. It was interesting to see that it was exactly the result we were predicted. And as you can see, I was speaking to you about the whole stuff you need to do something. Of course, I know it's a project, is a first test, is something to do, it will be improved and so on, but the body doesn't change. The body doesn't change. Don't forget that. You can change the technical side, but the body doesn't change. You have always all these signals coming from the legs. Even if they are not going to the brain, you have all the neurons, they are still here. I mean, if you are stimulating in a place and it's spread around and goes on the other neurons, you will have coactivation, will have a lot of different things. If you are measuring just one place in the brain, you will not have the whole feeling of the whole control of the movement. But it was really interesting. I learned a lot also to speak with them, to be with them. And so I will just summarize something because perhaps you think, okay, in my time looking like this, I had my accident in 2013. In 2014, I came back to home and I began a lot of home training. When I'm telling you I began a lot of home training, it means 37 hours a week. Training at basement and so on, without any stimulation, without nothing, and without something very important, without any knowledge. Just trying to find what's on the internet and trying to train. 2017-18, I came in the SIMO study from Grégoire Courtine and Jocelyn Buck. And 2019, I shift my paradigm about training, how to train. And I will show you something in 2022. But to summarize this, I did more than 11,000 training hours. Everything is recorded. So I have Excel table where I'm writing everything since 2014. So I have everything written when I'm going to the toilet, if I have problems and so on. I'm recording every exercise, how many hours on the exercise and so on. I did approximately 50 projects, bachelor and master, with my students. I mean, about devices, about recording, about analyzing what I'm doing, also what I'm doing, my movement and so on. But you will find no publication. I'm an engineer, sorry. I did approximately 40 prototypes. I mean, prototypes to walk, prototypes to stand, prototypes to pedal, or different things I did. I was part of more than 10 studies as patient, and I was collaborating, I still collaborating with more than 10 university and polytechnic school. No, 2022, what happens? Without any stimulation, I was able to do that. If you remember, I was not able to stand, I was not able to walk, I was not able to do anything of them. So that's without any stimulation. And something else also, if you remember my heart rate, what was the highest level I reached with my heart rate? Do you remember? 96, okay. So I don't know if you know Armin Kurt, he's one of the good researcher in Switzerland. It's a doctor researcher in Balgrist. I went to him and I showed him, so I brought him this picture. You can see it here. And when he saw this picture, because he know me from the STIMO study, here you can see interval training, and I pushed my heart rate to 154. When he saw this result, he just told me two things: wow and shit. Okay, so what was interesting here, I was always, when I'm doing exercise, analyzing everything, what happens with my body, and expecting some result, and sometimes trying different things. I did a lot of mistake. I think the last 2 years, last 3 years, I'm understanding much more my body than before. And we did a case study, and from the case study I'm running, what we could see is here. So just to explain what I have here. Here it's the body weight support. We are measuring with two force plate on the where the feet are. We are measuring the force on the feet, and because they know my weight, you know after how much I have on my arms. And what you can see, we did 200 measurement, and you see that in one session we did 10 measurement for 1 minute, 10 times 1 minute. And this, we repeated it 5 times in 4 different conditions. And so you can see that the body weight support with my arms is going down through the repetition. No fatigue, the body, the nervous system is more adapting to the exercise than being fatigued. And the sway, here you can measure the sway. The first test we had, so the first test in the measurement, the first repetition, we had a lot of sway, and in the end, number 10, less sway in my movement when I was standing. So let's be going further. In the beginning of this study we did in 2023, I had a distance what I could walk in 6 minutes, was here, and 6 months later it was longer. Okay. And if you are asking me today, what can I do today? That was in 2023. In 2023, I did a measurement on 300 meters. And if you compare it with today, this year I could increase the speed by 44%. You will see it, perhaps say, okay, it's cool. But the most thing, what was cool for me, you know what it was? I could do it without anybody who helps me. That means I'm taking the red device you can see here, bring it in my car, take it out from my car in the forest, walk alone, come back to my car, bring it in my car, and go back home without nobody who helps me. And that makes a lot of change in my life. And something else, it's the bone density. As you can see here, it seems that the bone density is slowly going down. That's in the beginning, first day, not first day, but first year of my accident. You can see second measurement here, third one, but we don't know how far it was going down here, but we can see here that it's slowly going up. So that means it's interesting for me. What I learned also, that's the bicycle I did. And this bicycle has something different from all the rest. That means I want to move my legs and my arms together. Because my legs are not moving, we have a connection between the arms and the legs. That means the movement of the legs, the arms are moving the legs also. And I have an electrical motor on the bicycle to help me. What was important for me when I did this bicycle is that to have the movement like when you are walking. When your left arm is in the front, you have the right leg in the front also. You are crossing, you have crossing movement. So the bicycle, we did exactly the same. And so with the team of Grégoire Courtine, that's part of the team of Grégoire Courtine was also here. It was in 2018. I asked them to bring the stimulation system on the bicycle. So we did it, and you can see it here. It works, yeah. You can see it the first day when we tried the stimulation system. That means stimulating the spinal cord when I'm pedaling. So they are adjusting everything, and suddenly they will push on the button, and you will see the face of Fabien here. You can see him. And what you don't hear is Grégoire Courtine, who is so happy to see that the system is working. What was interesting here, it means I can go out with the bicycle and having the stimulation system who works with me without the help of nobody. That's for me an application of something who could work for the people who are in a wheelchair. As I told you, I did a lot of other devices. One of them was this. Okay, it's not to go outside with girls, but it's just a device. What you cannot see here, perhaps correctly, is I wanted to go from my home alone, away. So I have two footrests where I can fix my feet there and go like a motorcycle in the forest. And after I can stand, because I have the seat who helps me to stand, and I can walk. Theoretically, it works. Practically, not. But I had to do it to be sure, not to be sure, but it was a hope for me to train. I dreamed it in the end of the STIMO study because I wanted to go ahead with the idea of moving with stimulation and so on, but it didn't work. Another thing, I'm speaking about collaboration, and Grégoire Courtine did something very nice. He gave me, also gave me, here is Margot. She did her master thesis with me, and Margot is from APFL, and she did, you will find her work in next publication from Grégoire Courtine and his team. And what I wanted to do, I also did intellectual property, a patent on this ID. It's instead of measuring what happens in the brain, I measured what happens in the arms. If you want to run fast, you will do bigger movement with your legs, but you will also do bigger movement with your arms. So I measured the force in my arms to find or to adapt the right stimulation on the legs. That means when I'm not pushing or when I'm just turning without any force, I have no stimulation in the legs. If I'm pushing very hard because it's going uphill, I have more stimulation in my legs. So that was my idea. So what I learned in all these years, it's a lot of humility. It means the body is much more complex than we are thinking. Sometimes when you're acting in one part of the body, you are destroying a whole process who is already existing in the body. So from my side, science, people who are working on people who are disabled, they need to collaborate together and try to find the right result and not the right result, but the right solution for the people who are in a wheelchair. So that's my team here under this SCI Mobility Lab. But what I'm doing, I need a lot of help. So I'm working also with other people around me. Thank you.